Herb tomato marmalade is one of those sweet and savory kind of jams that my family loves so much. We really like to eat them on fresh French bread. I mean, is anything not good on fresh French bread, right? Also on crackers. It's a really good pairing with a cream cheese base because that creaminess just kind of adds to it. And this one has the addition of just a little bit of citrus to offset that tomato, which is such a good combination. I've already prepared my tomatoes by quartering them. I really prefer the Roma tomatoes because they're a little bit meatier, but I've done other ones as well. Now I'll place these on the stove and get them to a simmer for about 20 minutes. My goal is to make them soft enough that they'll go through the food mill easily. With my tomatoes nice and soft, I'll load them into my hopper of my food mill. And then I can separate the skins and seed as well as the pulp from the juice. My husband's honey strainer maintains the pulp up inside it, and then I have the bucket that will catch all of the juice. Any of the skin and seeds will go into my little container on the opposite side here. Now this isn't a lot of tomatoes, so it goes through pretty quickly. The skin and seeds tend to have a lot of moisture in them still, so I run them through one more time. Usually I have to use the tamper just a little bit more the second time around because it's a lot drier. I actually need 3 cups of the strained pulp here. This first level is a coarse strainer, and so it'll catch all of the bigger stuff. Okay, so I'm almost 2 cups at this point. So I'll go ahead and grab the fine strainer here, which is the bottom portion. It's got some juice in it, and that's fine. Because if we don't get up to the 3 cup mark, that's what we're gonna do, is add a little bit more juice. And I am just a little shy, so now I'll pour back in some of the juice just until it gets up to that 3 cup mark. I'll then place my 3 cups of sauce inside my pan. I like to do a large pot because sometimes as it's boiling, it can splutter a little, and it's a little more protective. 6 tablespoons of pectin, 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice, 1/2 of a tablespoon of minced garlic, 2 teaspoons of lemon peel, 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and 1/2 of a teaspoon of butter. This one's optional, but it does reduce the foam. I also pre-measure 4.5 cups of sugar for later. I'll then place this on the stove and bring it up to a boil. Now that it's come to a nice rolling boil, I'll add my sugar all at once. And that's why it's important to measure it beforehand. Otherwise, you won't be able to add it all at once and you'll risk burning it. And then I stir continuously at this point because it'd be a lot easier to burn it. And who wants to ruin it by now? All the hard work is done. And you can get a picture for just how pretty it is as you look in there and see all of the herbs and the garlic floating in it. Smells delicious. My goal now is to bring it back up to a rolling boil. Now that the boil continues, even when I stir it, I'll go ahead and set the timer for 1 minute. And I stir continuously because at this point it's very hot. And if you don't stir, then it actually increases the amount of foam that's in there. I'll then fill up my jars until they're 1/4 of an inch of headspace, which is the space from the top of the food to the top of the jar. So this one and the herb tomato jam are really big favorites of ours. The big difference is this one has more citrus component to it, and it also has the sauce as opposed to the fruit chunks in it. Both of them are good. It just kind of depends on what I'm working on that day. If I'm doing something else that uses the food mill, then I might prefer to do this as opposed to blanching my tomatoes and cutting them. And then I notice a few of mine are a little bit low, so I'll do some fine tuning here with my little ladle. Because that headspace is pretty important for how well it seals. And then I always take my spatula through and I'll scrape out the pan because it can be amazing just how much is actually still in your pan when it seems like you're pretty much done. Yeah, I mean, that almost got me an entire jar worth. The headspace isn't quite high enough but that's okay because we'll just eat that one. I'll then place my lids and rings on fingertip tight. Everything's hot, so I have to be careful not to burn myself. And then I'll process them for 10 minutes. If I'm at sea level, I'm at 1,200 feet, so I'm gonna go for 15. Now that the water's at a full rolling boil, I'll set the timer. The timer just went off, so I'll remove the lid and turn off the heat and allow it 5 minutes to cool. And then I just use the jar lifters to pull my jars out of the hot water. I space them about 1 to 2 inches apart, and I usually make sure I have them on some kind of a placemat or a towel or just something to both protect the counter from the jars and protect the jars from the coldness of the counter. I'll allow these to rest for about 24 hours. At that point, I'll remove the ring, use hot soapy water to clean off the entire thing, and put them in my cool, dry, dark pantry, which is just perfect for canned goods. And then I'll use them in the next 1 to 3 years. One of my favorite ways to eat this marmalade is with a cracker and some cream cheese. This is some of the homemade cream cheese that I made. All right, put that jam on there with it. So good, guys, so good. So, you know, you get a little of the tomato, but it's got those herbs with it too, and the sweetness is just so great. And then you get a little bit of that lemon component from the lemon peel. So I actually really, really hope that you guys try this one because it is one of my favorite ways to preserve my tomatoes.